So, if you remember, we just had a very dramatic line about finding the barn. Morn leaned over the barn and said, "Incredible, isn't it? They're worse than vultures circling a dying animal. There's going to be trouble if they stay much longer." "For us or for them?" "Them," said Morn as angry voices filled the tavern. Eragon left when the argument threatened to become violent. "Good thinking, Eragon. It's the one logical thing you've done so far." The door thudded shut behind him, cutting off the voices. It was early evening, and the sun was sinking rapidly. The houses cast long shadows on the ground. As Eragon headed down the street, he noticed Rowan and Katrina standing in an alley. I don't think they standing in a random alley in the middle of nowhere, so people wouldn't see them. That's their intention. I don't think you're supposed to see them then. You should probably walk away. Rowan said something Eragon could not hear. Katrina looked down at her hands and answered in an undertone, then leaned up on her upper tiptoes and kissed him before darting away. Eragon trotted to Rowan and teased, Having a good time?" Rowan grunted noncommittally as he paced away. "Have you heard the trader's news?" asked Eragon, following. Most of the villagers were indoors, talking to traders or waiting until it was dark enough for the troubadours to perform. "Yes," said Rowan, seemed distracted. "What do you think of Sloane?" "I thought it was obvious." "There'll be blood between us when he finds out about Katrina and me," stated Rowan. A snowflake landed on Rowan's nose. "Snowflake? Oh, you wouldn't get it. It's an inside joke with myself. But if you watch Game Zone, well, it's also with my brother. Okay, it's an inside joke with my brother and me. If you watch Game Zone, 235 or just Game Zone, I don't remember which one it is anymore, because I'm not subscribed to his channel. Once he starts posting videos and you watch them, especially Skylanders, you'd understand. Okay, where are we? Snowflake landed on Eragon's nose, and he looked up. The sky had turned gray. He could think of nothing appropriate to say. Rowan was right. He clapped his cousin on the shoulder as they continued down the byway. Dinner, of course, was hearty. The room was full of conversation and laughter. Sweet cordials and heavy ales were consumed in copious amounts. Copious is plentiful, adding to the boisterous atmosphere. When the plates were empty, hoarse guests left the house and strolled to the field where the traders were camped. A ring of poles topped with candles had been stuck into the ground in a large clearing. Bonfires blazed in the background, painting the ground with dancing shadows. The villagers gathered around the circle and waited expectantly in the cold. The troubadours came fumbling out of their tents. No, tumbling, not fumbling, dressed in tasseled clothing, followed by older and more stately minstrels. The minstrels provided music and narration as the younger counterparts acted out the stories. The first plays were pure entertainment, bawdy and full of jokes, pratful and ridiculous characters. Not this one. Later, however, the candles sputtered in their sockets, and everyone was drawn together into a tight circle. The old storyteller, Broom, stepped forward. A knotted white beard rippled over his chest, and a long black cape was wrapped around his bent shoulders, obscuring his body. He spread his arms with hands that reached out like talons and recited thus: The sands of time cannot be stopped. Years pass whether we will them or not, but we cannot remember. No, but we can remember. What has been lost may yet live on in memories. That which you will hear is imperfect and fragmented, yet treasure it, for without it does not exist. I give you now a memory that has been forgotten, hidden in dreamy haze that lies behind us. His keen eyes inspected their interested faces. His gaze lingered on Eragon last of all. Ooh, because Eragon is so special. Before your grandfather's fathers were born, and ye even before their fathers, the dragon riders were formed. I just think this is the appropriate time to do. Because, this is going to be a dragon tale. So, let's just skip forward to it. Dragonland! Wait, what? They've got characters? they've got characteristics in their songs and stuff. Ugh. Anyways, their dragon riders were formed. To protect and guard was their mission, and for thousands of years they succeeded. Their prowess in battle was unmatched, for each had the strength of 10 men. Only 10? But they had dragons, so that's more, I guess. They were immortal unless later poison took them. Oh wow. For good only were their powers used, and under their tutelage tall cities and towers were built out of the living stone. Stone is alive. You will see that because this is a stone that I have put into eyes. Can you see it? No, it's not a stone, it's like lime or something. And then I dried it and then I poked eyes with a pencil. I was bored. Okay, so stone is alive. Just remember that. While they kept peace and the land flourished. It was a golden time. The elves were our allies. The dwarves were our friends. Wealth flowed into our cities, and men prospered. But what about the Urgles? But weep, for it could not last. Broom looked down silently. Infinite sadness resonated in his voice. I guess they wanted to get a theme song, and then they put up Dragon Tales theme song, and then they all like died from the horridness of that song. Though no enemy could destroy them, they could not guard against themselves. And it came past to the height of their power that a boy, Galbatorix by name, was born in the province of Inzelbet, which is no more. Wait, so Galbatorix destroyed his own home? At 10, he was tested, as was the custom, and it was found that great power resided in him. The riders accepted him as their own. Through their training he passed, exceeding all others in skill. Gifted with a sharp mind and strong body, he quickly took his place among the riders' ranks. Some saw his abrupt rise as dangerous and warned the others, but the riders had grown arrogant in their power and ignored caution. Alas, sorrow conceived that day. So he's just gonna keep on saying alas and weep and all that kind of stuff. So it was that soon after his training was finished, Galbatorix took a reckless trip with two friends. Far north they flew, night and day, and passed into Urgel's remaining territory, foolishly thinking their new powers would protect them. They were on a thick sheet of ice, unmelted even in summer. They were ambushed in their sleep. Though his friend and their dragons were butchered, and he suffered great wounds, Galbatorix slew his attackers. Tragically, during the fight, a stray arrow pierced his dragon's heart. Without the arts to save her, she died in his arms. Then were the seeds of madness planted. Dun dun dun, seeds of madness. So madness is a plant. You should also remember that, as well as the rock is alive. The storyteller clapped his arms and looked around slowly. Shadows flickered across his worn face. The next words came like the mournful toll of a requiem. Alone, bereft of much of his strength, and half mad with loss, Galbatorix wandered without hope in that desolate land, seeking death. It did not come to him, though he threw himself without fear against any living thing. Urgles and other monsters soon fled from his haunted form. During this time he came to realize that the riders might grant him another dragon. Driven by this thought, he began the arduous journey on foot back through the spine. Territory he had soared over effortlessly on a dragon's back now took him months to traverse. He could hunt with magic, but oftentimes he walked in places where no animal traveled. Thus, when his feet finally left the mountains, he was close to death. A farmer found him collapsed in the mud and summoned the riders. Unconscious, he was taken to their holdings, and his body healed. He slept for 4 days. Upon awakening, he gave no sign of his fevered mind. When they were brought before the council, convened to judge him, Galbatorix demanded another dragon. The desperation of the request revealed his dementia, and the council saw him for what he truly was, denied his hope, Galbatorix, through the twisted mirror of his madness, came to believe it was the rider's fault his dragon had died. Night after night he brooded on that, and formulated a plan to exact. Oh shoot!